You were leading the social department, is that my understanding?
Yes.
Okay, there's your issue.
I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission.
Unstoppable, my friend, how are you?
Welcome to Kday 117. Man, this is an intense episode. Kerwin and Matthias went to LA to record some podcast, and while they were gone, a bunch of challenges in the organization began to appear in the leadership team. It was a really intense conversation, a deep dive into why I do some of the things that I do. Trust me, you're going to love this one. Enjoy.
Timmy! Hello, Timmy. Good to see you, buddy.
You too.
Oh, you look so cute. What's going on? We're trying to understand why FGS was causing frustration.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think it was FGS causing frustration.
Yeah.
I think it was the work that was associated with it. Is it going ahead? Is it not? I think everybody was not romantic about, we're doing FGS or we're not doing FGS. I think it was just like, okay, which are we doing? Which do we plan for?
Okay. What I'm trying to understand is the adaptability and why people were stressing about things that were beyond their control in an environment that is normally high flex, high adapt, high change.
My understanding would probably be something around time frame. Everyone wants to over deliver, and given the time frame that they had.
Okay, so we work on tight time frames all the time. That's nothing unusual. Sometimes we do ridiculous ones. Again, what I'm trying to understand here is what was happening at an emotional level that was creating the failure to regulate. Do you get my point? The issue wasn't FGS, the issue was the emotional response to whether it was on or off. It wasn't all the assets that has to be done. I'm trying to understand why the team weren't being regulated, or why the team were. I'm trying to go, okay, how do we have this situation again exactly and have no frustration, no emotion,
Okay.
no one freaking out, no one clapping because we're not doing something that's really important. What I'm seeing right now is, in the absence of leadership, people look to everyone around them to see what everyone else does to determine their emotional state. And to me, my belief is, and this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, the reason that a lot of people were emotional about the on again, off again, because there wasn't a high level of certainty to the people who were communicating to them that was making them go, guys, this is not an issue. It's all good. There's nothing to stress about. There were people that were involved in the narrative and the dialogue going, look, I don't know either, shit, we're just gonna have to. And so what I'm trying to understand is, where was the gap? You were leading the social department, is that my understanding?
Yes.
Okay, there's your issue. My understanding was you had empowered Tim to lead the social department, is that right?
Yes, but also Keen.
And the reason I'm saying that, because I said you were leading the social department and you were like,
Well, it wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was doing it myself.
right.
Because Anna and Keen and myself sat in there. I didn't think that it was ever at any point would be my place. Like, why would it have been me to lead the social team? There's plenty of things that I feel like I am capable of doing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I didn't have the ability to do that. It was more just like there was never really a definitive discussion that it was like, okay, Timmy, you are leading the social department.
Okay, I think we can wrap this conversation. I see what the bigger issues are, what we have to do. I apologise that we didn't empower you at the level that I thought we had. Like, I honestly thought we had empowered you to run that department and lead that department at a high level. That was my understanding.
I guess.
Not your issue?
No.
Information flow. I got mixed signals and mixed information. So I'm sorry. I should have actually come to you personally, as I did with Sam, and had the same conversation I had with Sam, which is, I need some people to step up right now, and I'm looking at you to do that.
Well, I guess
You've done nothing wrong. Just so we're clear, you've done nothing wrong. Did you see uncertainty building within the team?
Yeah.
What did you do about it?
I had certain conversations, small conversations.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people were starting to get romantic about happening or not happening.
Yes.
This isn't about it happening or not happening.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah. There was levels of uncertainty that were popping up as a result of something that to me should have been a non-issue, a non-event, a non-stress related. We've done how many fucking FGSs, so many FGSs, we should be able to do them blindfolded now.
Yeah.
It's more about seeing uncertainty pop up, to me, is a level and a form of smoke, and what was done about it. And so I'm trying to understand within your department what you saw, so next time you've got a different approach to what you do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What did I see? There was a lot of smoke, I would say, probably in design.
Yep.
I should have met up with design for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at what they do and they can do stuff really fast. I should have just given them more certainty.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability. They were just freaking out because,
And what would you say next time if that same situation arose?
Well, given what you just said, I would say, irrespective of what happens, we got this.
Yeah.
Like there's no, I would just calm the waters a little bit. Well, not really calm the waters, but adjust the sails.
Yeah. Ooh.
I feel like I kind of got on my own way because I didn't want to just, because people are asking, even like Esha had some stuff come up. She even sent me a message going, are you leading social? And I was like, what do you need to hear? I purposely avoided that because I was like, I don't, like.
What was your lesson on that?
Well,
okay.
I think.
Who's leading? Why? What do you need to know? It's like, the house is on fire. Well, fuck, just don't follow me. I'm lost too.
No, not at all. It was more.
But do you see like that to me? Can you see that? Like that says everything. Who's leading? Abdication. Like, because what your response was deflection, which you didn't answer a question, which is the greatest way to provide a heightened level of uncertainty is by not answering someone's question. What you should have said is yes.
Yeah, I'm aware of that now.
Yeah, when we recognize uncertainty, our job as leaders is when we see uncertainty, when we see that emotional instability, when we see our child having a meltdown, our job is to go, right, I sense, and again, we've all got to become really attuned to what does uncertainty and unsafety look like. It looks like, heightened emotions. It looks like stress. It looks like people throwing things down, having little sprays, little vents, and then going, okay, the only thing that's missing right now is a level of certainty. And so if someone comes to you, especially Asha, who's new, okay, you've been here, probably almost longer than anyone, she was just unsure, uncertain. Nobody knew who the fuck was leading. There was no leadership. 3 people had been empowered, no one stepped up.
I think it was also like a humility thing.
Don't confuse humility to ego, and this is the fucking battle I'm having right now, is there's a part of me that thinks playing small is humility, but not when it's at the expense of growth.
I feel like if I had have stepped up when I was unclear about that, I would have felt like that could have been ego.
I just don't agree, because that's not how you lead.
But like if you were in a meeting with like 2 other people, and you're all being empowered, and then someone asks you the question, are you leading, and you know that 2 other people have also been given that opportunity, why would you say yes and then not associate that with ego?
Because that question, by the virtue of the question, demonstrated a very high degree of uncertainty, and that's what they wanted. The opportunity that you had in that was to recognise what she needed, which is just leadership. What were you trying to protect them from by claiming leadership? What were you afraid of doing to them? What were you trying to protect them from?
Take away opportunities to lead, I guess.
Was anybody leading? Like really? Like, because there's being visible and then there's leading. And when someone's asking who the leader is, that answers the question.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It sounds very definitive to say, is there leadership? Or was there leadership?
Was the level of leadership present that was required?
Right. Well, I think we all know the answer to that. Which is no.
No. So you were protecting them from doing something that they weren't even doing themselves. You get it?
I guess so. Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
Yeah. You're right, yes. I was...
Are you saying yes to get the conversation to finish, or are you going yeah because you just...
No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you agreeing or are you learning? Because I don't want to be right. I don't give a fuck if I'm right. What I give a fuck is like what happens from here. I don't want this to be a conversation.
Okay. No, that's
just...
what you mean by what do you mean, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? Yes, that is what I mean.
Yeah.
When I'm going, oh, okay.
So can you now see how that was your ego?
Oh.
You were trying to protect someone else from pain that was non-existent.
Yeah, all right, yeah. No, sorry, that sounds so like, that's ego talking. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, for real though?
No, yeah. Sorry.
I have so much love for you, mate. I hope you know how much I fucking adore you. Like, I absolutely adore you.
What? Okay.
Because you're so willing and open and you're going there. How many people would do this in front of, like, half a dozen other people, a dozen other people?
Stop looking.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't worry about them. It's the fucking camera you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Can you see how you, and again, this is the one I think where your biggest lesson I believe is coming from, because I might just be projecting on you, but can you see how your ego prevented you from stepping up under the guise of humility? Because to me, that's one of the most dangerous forms of ego, is when we don't see it for what it is, we see it for something else.
I know you've mentioned this before. I don't know how that comes up in my life. I don't know how I would answer that right now.
Well, you were saying, well, I didn't want to. When you say humility, I was doing it because it was coming from a space of humility. What did humility look like in that moment to you?
Mm-hmm.
Does humility look like playing small? Does humility look like the protecting the feelings of others?
For me, in that moment, it meant to say that I wasn't the one person leading, because I believed that I didn't believe that was the right answer.
And you believe that is humility?
Well, yeah. If I'd been like I was saying, if I was in that meeting and I was surrounded by people that had been empowered, I felt like it would be not the right thing to say if I was to say, yes, I am leading this department.
Why?
Two other people.
It's not the right thing to say because why?
Because two other people had been empowered.
Who weren't leading. I could understand you doing that if Anna and Keem were leading at a high level, but nobody was. So that's why I'm curious as to the story you created in your head wasn't based on a reality, it was based on a fantasy of something you were trying to protect that wasn't even real. Which is, to me, when something's not real, that involves protecting self from the... Because what I'm hearing is, you thought you were trying to protect them from pain, you were just afraid of stepping up because of how you would be perceived on some level.
I simply believed that all three of us were handling it together, even though we didn't communicate.
But you guys weren't.
I get that, but that's why I acted in the way that I did.
Okay. The reason I'm pushing this is because, like, I've been grooming you now. How long have you been here? 3 years?
Not yet. Yeah, just over 2 years.
And when did I first ask you, do you want to be a leader?
A long time ago.
Yeah. And what was your response?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you want to be, right? And so now we're getting to the pointy end of that journey. And the pointy end of that journey is the practice. It's the application. And right now, it's in the practical, in the application, where you're now going to learn your biggest lessons. Because up until this point, you've been training, and then it was like training wheels off. You're empowered, but so are you, and so are you. Okay, and the thing that prevented you doing what you want to do right now is in disguise, and you can't see it. And so all I'm trying to do is ask questions to bring it to your awareness that at some point the penny's going to drop, and you're going to go, aha, hang on, maybe it's not that, maybe it's something else. And I don't want you to just go, okay, so it wasn't humility, it was ego. And I want you to actually be able to see the relationship and go, and again, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I'm going through this exact same thing right now, just in a completely different area.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use humility as a way of not standing up because I don't want to, I don't want to put myself out there too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? Well, because, I want to be humble. I want to be humble in my success. Really? Or are you just afraid of the pain that greater success might create? Greater visibility?
Yeah. No, I know. I'm not trying to agree for the sake of agreeing. I'm just not sure.
It's okay.
I just don't know.
I want you to just sit on it for a little bit. Just let it stew. Let it stew. Because honestly, I think this is going to be massive for you. You've got all the characteristics of a great leader, but there's one thing that's missing. And do you know what that is?
No, but I want to find out.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that then.
Yeah.
In our next conversation, next couple of weeks, come back to me and go, okay, here's what I think it was, here's what I think is missing, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
If you want to. Otherwise, you don't have to. Completely up to you.
No.
But it's not like nobody's watching. Hey?
What did you just say?
I said it's not like nobody's watching, so...
Oh, I heard Daddy's watching.
Whoa. All right, with that...
I haven't really been thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's more just okay, head down, deal with the things as they come up.
Get it done, just get through it.
Not looking back and being like, oh, I don't know, why did that seem like the right thing to do? Was that the right thing to do?
And to me, that's where consciousness must prevail, because there's a difference between just putting your head down and getting to the outcome, and putting your head down and getting to a good outcome. Yeah. And making sure that we're not just focusing on one foot in front of the other, we're focusing on that, because that's what a leader will do. A leader will focus not just on one foot in front of the other, but they'll also look at where everyone else is putting their feet as well.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm having this conversation is because I really, 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 and Matthias will attest to this, we've had that many conversations around where I see you going, just beyond what you're doing right now. And and the reason is because of who you are, because people like you, because people trust you, because you're a great communicator. And I would just love to see you step into that next stage, that next level of leadership. There's a muscle that you're building right now that's requiring more strength.
Okay.
And you know what it is?
No.
Okay, good. Are you curious?
Yes.
All right, off you go then. Thank you, Timmy.
That's right.
You're awesome, buddy.
Give it up for Timmy.
Woo!
1 week later.
So I've been thinking about what you said in the boardroom meeting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you think the lesson is?
Stepping into leadership. Like,
The funny thing is, every motherfucker in that department not like almost nominated you for conscious, humble leadership.
yeah.
You had the position, but not the authority. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I actually do.
Yeah. The only thing I'd add to that incredible insight on the authority piece is assertion.
Yeah.
Leaders need to be in that meeting. There's not a representation. Assert yourself into that meeting.
Right.
I don't want there to ever be another situation where I come and go, Tim, you've got permission.
Yeah.
You've got permission. I want you to lead.
Yeah. And this is what was my story. I was like, I felt out for fail because I wasn't told, but I'm being told that that's the expectation. And I see both sides, but I'm stuck because I understand. But the ego was.
Well, my
on the other
understanding
side.
was Matthias set you, actually had a framing conversation with
No,
you.
he did.
Yeah.
But it was to 3 people, and that was what my story.
Oh,
was.
okay.
Anyway, I don't
My,
want to get.
I get it.
Yeah.
My story was it was for 3 people, not for me.
Yeah, and the story was, and that's why I think why I got really stuck is because my brain was going, this makes total sense. Like, this makes total sense. You could have done this, you could have done that, and I'm okay with that. But then the ego was probably up going, but all these things, you have reasons. And I'm like, yeah, but.
I can justify the shit out of this.
Yeah. Instead of not listening to it and then listening to my brain, I got stuck in between. So I couldn't communicate.
Mate, great awareness.